Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, here we go, Wednesday workshop. Oh, hang on. I got to turn down the volume on my phone so I can see all the Facebook folks. Hi, folks. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Diana. Welcome into Wednesday night workshop live on a Thursday. Yeah, that's right. We couldn't meet last night. It's completely and utterly my fault. I take all responsibility. I knew that we had an end of the year meeting for a group that we participate with last night. I've known it for at least a month, and it just hit me yesterday afternoon. You know, you're supposed to be at that meeting, and tomorrow's Wednesday night workshop, and it's not a meeting I can really miss. So thank you all so much for understanding and coming tonight. And for those of you that can't come tonight, if you're watching in the replay, I'm glad you're catching the replay, because you can always catch the replay anytime after the live version is over. It will come up, probably give it like a few minutes to process, and it will come up and you can always watch it. So please, if you're here with us, not sign in, but put your name in. Let us know where you're from so I can say hello, and we can all say hello to one another. Love to see everybody who's with us tonight. I've got quite a few things for us to go over tonight, and tonight we're going through the next two segments on the My First Build-A-Quilt. You see I've still got mine pinned up to the wall so that we can look at it. And hello, Sandy from West Michigan. Oh, hi, Sandy. I'm actually here in Illinois, so we're kind of neighbors a little bit. It's nice to have you with us tonight. Hope you're surviving this heat. I think you guys have had the same heat we've had. Today was actually not too bad, but the allergies are the worst. So if you notice my eyes look a little red and all, it's because I've been wanting to claw my eyes out all day. It's horrible. Anyway, I'm so glad you could be with us, Sandy. That's great. All righty, everybody. So while folks are checking in and saying hello and all of that, I know that because it's not the right night, we might have maybe even a lot fewer people. I'm not quite sure, but everybody's welcome. Hi, Gail. Hi, Gail. She's from Michigan too, so we got a lot of you Michigan gals with us tonight. That's great. I love that. So while we're doing the check-ins and the saying of the hellos, I thought I would share some little funnies with you. Do you guys like those funnies? If you don't like them, let me know. If you do really like them, let me know too, because I always want to do something at the beginning to kind of get everybody going. But I thought this one was pretty good. My sewing room isn't messy. I just have everything on display. Is that you guys? That's me for sure. When I get a project, it kind of sits out and lays around for a while, but it's just decorating the studio, right? Isn't that how it is for everybody? Oh, thank you. I just saw your message, Gail. Thank you so much. It really looks horrible. I mean, I haven't done anything with it today. After I worked out this morning and showered, I just dried it and let it go. I didn't do anything special to it, because anything with smell in it, like hair products and stuff like that right now, just are making my eyes go crazy. But yes, so Gail, I think she's answering, yep, that her sewing room, she agrees with this. If your sewing room is messy, it's just that everything is on display. Let me get another one. I've got a few of them to share with us tonight. I found some really good ones. Let's see. Oh, this one has to be my all-time favorite. How I buy fabric. Fabric I need for a project. That's the blue or purplish wedge there. That's what I need for a project. The red part, the rest of it, fabric I don't really need, but it's too pretty, or it's on sale, or I have a coupon for it. Really, they could just stop with it's too pretty. Fabric I don't really need, but it's too pretty, and I've got it wall to wall. So I really love this one. What do you guys say? Right again. Yes, very true. How I buy fabric. That's true. I looked at it for a while and thought, well, maybe that what I need for a project could be a little bit bigger. And then I thought, no, probably not. That probably is nicely, nicely balanced there. I guess is your shop hopping here in Michigan. Oh, am I shop hopping in Michigan? I am not. I didn't know there was a shop hop going on, but I would love to come to Michigan for a shop hop. Isn't oh, there's somebody who I really like in the industry who I've met. Can't think of her name at the moment, but she has a shop in Michigan. I'd love to come and do a shop hop in Michigan. In fact, if you guys know any shops up in your area that would like me to come do a build a quilt demonstration for folks, give them my information. I'd love to do that for them, and I'll be happy to come right on up to Michigan. All right, you guys ready for another little funny here? What I know they're not really funnies. They're called what, memes? Isn't that what we call these now? I'm old as dirt. What can I say? Oh, and so this one kind of goes along with those things that I tell you guys all the time. For happy quilting, keep one thing in mind. Done is better than perfect. Oh, isn't that the truth? Just getting your project done is better. And I always tell you, perfect is the enemy of the good or the beautiful. Just do it. Don't worry about little what you consider to be imperfections, because there is really nothing truly perfect. It's an all Michigan shop hop. 82 stores, Sandy, really? Oh my goodness sakes. I could probably still do all 82. We had an all Illinois shop hop the last couple of years. I wonder if it's the same organization that does one for every state, but 82 stores. Can you, would you mind, Sandy, if you have dates, like how long this is supposed to run? Is it like into the summer or something? And would you post that in a comment? I'd love to know it, and some other folks might as well, because maybe I can get my husband, Dave, maybe we can do a little road trip, and I can come up and see some of those shops in Michigan, because I don't have enough fabric. No, I do not. All right, I think I've got one more for us. Let's take a look. This one. I have all the fabric I need, said no one ever. Isn't that the truth? That's just, we quilters, I know for me, the reason I love fabric, it's like I have to have the big box of crayons. I love color. I just am so in love with color that I see fabrics with all those beautiful colors, and I can't get enough of them. So that's the truth of it for me. Let's see. My quilting friend told me that several years ago, if I keep trying for perfect, I won't make a thing. And she's right. Yes, Gail, she is absolutely right. Because there is no such thing as perfection. Not really. I mean, you all know that in my former life, I was, I am a biolinguist and a scientist. Scientifically, there's no such thing as perfect. And so there is no such thing as perfect. And that was a hard one for me to figure out personally, that I couldn't keep striving for perfect. I mean, you can strive to be as good as you want to be, but no perfect. Yes, hold on. Thanks, Sandy. My sister Jane is a big time quilter. She does those hops. Oh, great. Great. I bet she has fun. I bet she has a great fabric stash. All righty. So those are tonight's funnies. Did you guys like them? I hope you did. I enjoyed finding them. If you go out on the web, you can kind of, they're like everywhere, and you can kind of pick them and show them, and there's tons of them. So there's always more than I feel like we've got time for. All righty. So, the other thing I'll share, speaking of fabrics and shop hops. So those of you that know that I live in a rural community here in Illinois right now knows that I don't have a shop by me. I have to travel at least at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours to get to a shop. So I have to do a lot of my fabric shopping online. When I can get to an actual shop, I go a little nutso. But I've been looking, I had to kind of restock some blue fabrics. And then I found some others that I love too. But I did a whole shop, my own personal shop hop for Kimberbell fabrics. And I'll link, I did a live unboxing last night. I know we didn't do our Wednesday live last night, but when we got home around 8:30 or 9, this was waiting for me. And I thought, oh, I need to get right online and unbox that and show everybody what I got. So I'll link that after this is over. I'll link it at the end. Oh, Gail, I'm glad you enjoy it. That's great. Welcome in to all of our new folks. Please go ahead and sign in. Let us know where you're from. That would be great. Oh, are you guys ready now for the question of the week? Well, before we do that, let me say again for all those of you that are just popping in, I'm Diana. This is So Uncommon. This is Wednesday Workshop Live with the Build a Quilt system, which is patchwork quilting with the hoop of your embroidery machine. But yes, it's Thursday night because I was unable to meet last night. So we just bumped it one day. And I'm so thankful that you all were willing to let me do that because I made a big scheduling mistake. But welcome everybody. If you would like to sign into the comments, let us know that you're here. I can say hello. You can say hello to others, all that kind of fun stuff. And I was just showing some little cartoons. This is the last one I showed. I have all the fabric I need, said no one ever. Now, this down here says, support I Love Fabric Days, August 15th through the 17th. I'm going to have to go and see if I can find more information on that because, to be honest, I don't need like an I Love Fabric Days. I love fabric every day, but it might be something fun that's coming up. If I can find more information, I'll share it again in another time we're together. All right, and then I'll post that fabric haul video. Now, I want to share with you guys a tip. I've shared this with the Quilt Lab subscribers, but I want to share it with you guys because I've got some questions recently from some of our newer Build-A-Quilters who want to know more about the coloring sheet that you all get in your pattern set. So you can see this is the pattern we're making. And it's a coloring sheet. Now, if you've got little ones you need to keep busy, print some out. They love to do stuff like this. But the reason I put one of these in every pattern is because I always like to give you tips on helping you choose color or playing with color, because that's like the biggest question I ever get. Like when I go out to stores and teach and stuff is, how do I know what colors to choose? And honestly, you all know plenty about color. If you dress yourselves in the morning, you know plenty about color, right? But I understand. We see beautiful quilts all done in all beautiful shades and colors, and we get a little nervous, like, is what I've chosen good? Well, I'm sure it is. And so this coloring sheet is to help you with that. But I've been getting some questions. How should I really use it? Hang on, I've got a comment I want to see here. I bought a new Baby Lock Altair. Sandy, congratulations. Let's all give Sandy a hand. She has a brand new Baby Lock Altair at home. That's a nice machine too. I know that machine. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Enjoy it. You're going to have a blast with it. They're great machines for sure. So what I did is I always print out 2 of the coloring sheets, and 1 I just set aside. And then I got myself, either a black colored pencil, or I like using, if I don't drop it, just a thin line black Sharpie, right? And what I do is I go around and I figure out where my my repeats are in my pattern, and I line 1 whole repeat. And then I do another one kind of like in the bottom crossways from it, so they're not right next to each other to start. And I play with my color pencils. fabric colors that I think I might want to use. And as you can see in this one, I also have one. So in the end, I'll have 1, 2, 3 repeats for this particular pattern that I can play with color pencils and figure out what I like. That way, I'm not cutting my fabric before I'm sure about the fabric colors that I want to use. That way, if you're going to choose a fabric that you've had in your stash and it's very special, hang on, I need to get this banner out of here. It's making me dizzy. If you have, like I said, if you have a fabric that you don't want to cut until you're sure you want to use it, or if you are just kind of scared about how to put colors together, using this tip will really help you. And then you can look and say, yes, I really do like this. And then what I do with the second one that I've done, I go in and color it, the whole thing, using whatever color combination I finally chose. Because although it might look really good right here, I want to make sure that in a full block or in a full project, everything is going to mesh together, okay? That I don't have like too much of a yellow touching or too much of a green touching, that I don't need to like separate out some color or something. And that's what coloring the bigger full-sized one will help you do. And then this will give you, instead of making 4 different copies to do your test, just break it up into the repeatable sections, and that'll allow you to basically get 4 sets of colors figured out on one sheet. So that's what I do. And I thought I would share with you guys what I do for my coloring, what product I use. I'm not sponsored or being sponsored by these 2 companies at all. I don't do that because I feel like if I do those sponsor things, I can't be completely 100% honest. And I haven't found a company yet that says, sure, just tell them whatever you think. They all kind of want you to say, well, it's nice, but, or, you know, it's really good. And I just want to tell the truth. So this is what I use. Good old Crayolas, but they're the twistable color pencils. And I've had this package of 18 colors for years now. And I love these. The reason I love these are, one, they're plastic. They're a nice size for coloring, but your lead can be twisted up. And then I can twist it right back down when I'm done and I'm not breaking, and I don't have to use a pencil sharpener. Let's see, what are you ladies talking about? There is a link at the bottom of the page to join the Facebook group. Yes. Sandy, my friend, knows. Oh, you have a Baby Lock Pathfinder. That's a great machine, too. All the Baby Lock machines are great. I love them all. I sure do. But now I have been gifted not from the company, the Crayola Twistables, the big 50 pack. Oh, look at all those great colors. Isn't that great? And so now and they show the colors here and they show the colors here. I haven't used them yet. They just came yesterday. But look at all those pretty colors. So I love these. Now, if they ever make 120 pack of these like they do with the crayons, I'm getting those too. But there's another product now. I've never seen this before. And they're called rainbow pencils, and the company is Hapacolor. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They are, they meet all the safety standards for Europe and England and the United States and basically the world. Okay, so they are non-toxic. They are a choking hazard for kids under 3. So if you got little ones who like to put things in their mouths, you know, keep these away from them. Oh, and these are not made from wood from rainforest trees. So if that's important to you, then this might be a good product for you. But this is what I like about them. They're called rainbow for a reason. Let me dig one out. One, they're a little bit fatter, and they show you, I know it's hard to see, but they show you the color mix on the end. But look at that lead. So when you color with these, you get a mixture of colors. Now, if you just color back and forth in the same spot, you might not get that color blend. But I chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these pencils and just tested them. And I love how they turned out. Look at that. And what I did to get that color mixture the best is as I was going back and forth, I was also rolling this in my hand, you know, just like back and forth like this, and then doing this. And that got all the colors in there. And look at how pretty they turn out. Now, both of these products were available at Amazon. You might check a local shop. Listen, folks, I tell you a lot about stores that are online. That's because I don't have anything here in my local rural community. So I have to order a lot of online. But if you have local shops and things where you can buy your products, please support them. I think that's always the best way to go. And when I can, I do. But that's those, the rainbow pencils. And there's 12 of them. And I thought, wouldn't that be great? So like, these could be used in place. Like if I know I'm going to be using all these colors in a print or something, I could use those and get like a mixture of color. It might make even that coloring sheet more useful. So I'm not ready to do any kind of review on these. I like to review the stuff I buy online so people know. Just for my own sake, I like to do those reviews. I haven't reviewed that yet because I haven't really used it enough to have a long-term thought about them, but when I do, I'll let you know. So that is our pro tip tonight for using your coloring sheet. I hope that you guys find that helpful, and I hope that those of you that have been asking for more information about how you can use the coloring sheet, I hope that helps. A couple weeks ago, happy to be here and sewing along to my blocks in the embroidery machine. So baby lock soprano, very nice, Gail. Very nice. The soprano, that's a beautiful sewing machine for sure. Yeah, I know all the names of the baby locks. It's just bad. Hi, Rose. Rose is from Illinois. She's a fellow Illinois girl. Hi, how you doing? I'm so glad you could be with us. We have just been talking about another use for the coloring sheet, Rose. Catch the first part of the replay, but basically I split one copy into all the repeatable sections. So I have like 4 different places on this where I can try different color combos. Then when I like it, I take a full sheet and color it all in to make sure everything is going to mix and match the best. But I explained that in a little more detail at the beginning, and you can always check that on the replay. All righty. So we're through the coloring sheet. Gosh, we are ready to move on to our segments of the evening. So let's look at our piece. This is my first Build a Quilt project. This is the first in my new collection called My First Build a Quilt. And I should let you know that today I started working on the second My First Build a Quilt pattern. My First Build a Quilt, I really created this one for new folks who've never done this before to help them build skill. But if you've been doing Build a Quilt for a while, this is also a great skill builder. And these are nice patterns. Like you might, if you're new, you might just make the small one wall hanging, the small piece. But if you're more experienced, you might decide to put 9 of those 20 by 20 blocks together and have a nice size quilt. So they're great for everybody. And the My First Build a Quilt also comes with your finished quilting designs too. So that's something that doesn't normally come in the patchwork part. Usually get the patchwork and all the stuff that goes with that. But with the My First Build a Quilt, you can do the project from soup to nuts. So I hope you like that. And during the weeks that we're doing a My First Build a Quilt, or for the first month that's on the website, if I don't do it as a project for everybody, these patterns are $5. After we've finished the project or after it's been out on the website for a month, it'll go up to its regular price, which is going to be $12.95. That's what I finally decided, $12.95, which is well worth it. And you get your coloring sheet, and you get your charts and your cut sheets and your layout and your instructions, and you always have these videos available, and also you get a lot in the material that you can print, and then you get all of the digital files for all of the regular home embroidery machine brands: Baby Lock, Brother, Bernina, Pfaff, Janome, Singer, Elna, blah blah, keep going, all of those out there, right? Viking, Husqvarna Viking, all of those. You get all of those files. You just choose which one you need out of the folder once you get your pattern set and choose the ones you need. Okay. And the nice thing about having them all is I have 2 different brands of machine and they use 2 different digital file endings. So in those patterns that come with all of them, I have both of them for both my machines, which is nice. I have last week's blocks done, ready to move on to what you have. Oh, Gail, good for you. Good. So does anybody else have last week's blocks done? Last week we did the square and we did the half square triangle. So the half square triangle, you are going to be making 16 of those. By the time you're done making them, you're going to be a pro for sure. And those are going to make all of these 4 pinwheels. It's not these. This is coming still. This is coming, I think just next week, because I think next week is our 3rd week already on this pattern. But if you can do these and you can do these and you can do these, these are going to be super simple for you. It's all basically the same technique. It's just more pieces of fabric. So you had to make 4 squares. Why the squares for our new folks? Because with the Build a Quilt system, the very last thing you do is a border stitch line. That line is in the fabric so that you can use it for sewing your pieces together at the end. You don't need a 1/4 inch seaming foot or anything like that on your sewing machine. All you have to be able to do is stitch right down that line and all your pieces will come together with the proper seaming. All right. All of that gets built into all of these patterns. So you did 16 of these and 4 of these. So tonight we are going to be doing the 2 rectangular segments that are in this piece, and you're going to be making 4 just white rectangles or whatever color you choose to use. Gail, let me know. Are you doing this kind of a color scheme or are you doing something else? Let me know. I'd love to know if you're doing them differently. But whatever color you're doing here, you're going to make 4 of these, and then you're going to be making 8 of this unit, which is called, does anybody know what this one's called? I know somebody knows. Type it in. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is called. I'm pretty sure somebody has to know. Okay, this is the flying geese unit. Okay, I'm going to take this one down for a sec and show it up here. So once you've learned the rectangle, which is going to be super easy, learning this is the next step after you've learned a half square triangle. With a half square triangle, you've got 2 pieces of fabric. It's a flip and stitch, really simple. With the flying geese unit, you're moving up. Now you have 3 pieces of fabric and 2 of them are going to flip. It's still the same kind of idea and simple, but you're just moving into something with more pieces. And that's kind of how I've designed it, so that you're building those skills as you go. Flying geese, flying geese. Yes, we've got lots of flying geese out there. Okay, so I'm going to move this over and I'm going to move my machine in and turn on my other camera. Hang on. I can't have them both in the same place at the same time because I have to move this way in here. Okay. Move the camera in. Oops. Oops. Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm so sorry. I hope everyone is still here. Can you folks please do a couple comments? Let me make sure that everybody can see me. I accidentally knocked something and it broke the connection. I'm doing black and yellow mostly. My black fabric is bees and ladybugs fun. My yellow still here. Okay, good. Thank you, Rose. Thank you very much. Some green fabric and white polka dots. Oh, Gail, that sounds gorgeous. Sounds very summery. Very, very summery. You're still here. Okay, good. Thank you. I accidentally bumped something and it disconnected me from the internet for a second. So I had to literally crawl under the desk, under my table here to reconnect. But I'm glad we're still here. Alrighty. Let me bring up the other camera now. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Alrighty. All right, so I'm going to flip over to the other camera. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to move the desk there. That'll be easier, I think. There we go. All right, so you can see that I have my stabilizer, which is just a wash away, meaning the video is locked up here, all locked up here, but I can chat. Okay, you're locked up. Well, that's not good. I can see you still here. Video is locked up. Are we still locked up? Because I'm showing everything is still live and going. I tell you what, since I accidentally disconnected, try going out and coming back in. We are live. Okay. Rose, are you saying we are live and you can see me? Okay. If you're having trouble seeing me, log out and log back in. I'm so sorry. This was completely my fault. I'm sure that when I accidentally disconnected, it could have messed up your connection. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. I'm able to get the blocks I missed out on. Sandy, I'm seeing your question now. Am I able to get the blocks I missed? Yes, you absolutely are. There, last week's live video, which is still in the live section here at YouTube, goes over it, and I will share with you where to get your pattern set at the end. Okay, but you absolutely can. It's at the website. In fact, let me show it to you now in case we have more goofy problems. The website is www.sewincommon.com, Sandy, and that's where you can find the My First Build a Quilt pattern, Stars and Diamonds. Okay. And I will even, after this is all over, in the description box, I'll go in and put the link, although you can find it just by looking at the live section, and it was just last Wednesday's, but I'll link it in there for you to make it even easier for you. Okay. All right. Yes, we're back here. Okay, good. All right. Holy smokes. Sorry, guys. All right. So there is, I'm so afraid to touch anything now. Here we go. All righty. We are here at the machine. I've got my wash away stabilizer in here, and it's a wash away, just like you would use for freestanding lace or any other kind of embroidery project. Why do we use it? I know that some of you that have been with me for a while can tell our new folks why we use it. And I'm going to grab a, this is a half square triangle that we did a while back. I've washed out the wash away stabilizer. There's nothing left in there, not a single thing. So when I go to quilt, I'll just have my fabric top, my batting, and my backing fabric like any other quilt made any other way. That's why I use wash away. It's plenty strong to do these squares. You don't have to worry about it not being strong enough. I just use a 7511, I think, needle. And that's all I use, just like you would do for anything else. It's super simple. All right, so I'm going to be able to do, in my 5x7 hoop, I'm going to be able to do 2 segments. So tonight I'm going to do the rectangle on the top and the flying geese on the bottom. However, when you're doing these, you can do 2 hoopings and have all 4 of your rectangles done, and 2 more hoopings, you'll have all of your flying geese done. Now, if you have a larger hoop, you guys know that you can absolutely use a larger hoop and get more pieces in a hooping and have even less hoopings to do. And we kind of always love that. The very first thing you're going to do is stitch out your boundary box, okay? And I'm going to take this out and see it because I have my gray thread in here. And I like to use Isocord's light pearl gray. I think it's 184. But any light gray is great for piecing. It's just a good blendable neutral for everything. So let's take that out and show it to you. So there is our boundary box. Now, I'm going to take my glue stick. You don't have to use a fabric glue stick at all, but I like to just make sure that my fabric is going to stay where I put it. So I just put a little swipe there. I give you really generous fabric cuts. Once you get used to doing Build a Quilt, you can always cut your fabrics a little bit smaller if you want to, but I give you generous pieces so that you're never going to have to worry that you're not going to have enough fabric. And I'm just laying it right down. I can feel my boundary, so I know that I've got plenty on all 4 sides. And this one is super easy because there is no trimming to do except when you trim it out at the very end. There's no trimming to do in the process. Next week, the ones we do will definitely have some trimming, and that will be like a new skill that you'll learn, how to do the trimming of the pieces. And that's all there is for the rectangle. It's just that simple. But again, you've got this box that's going to help you sew it all together in the end, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and come into my machine and bring up my second pattern, which is my flying geese unit. And if you guys are wondering what I'm using, I am using a Brother, the Dream Machine. This is an original Dream Machine that was upgraded to the Dream Machine 2. I actually bought this very, very gently. Whoops. I have to set that first. Now I'm going to move my pattern down so it's at the bottom of my hoop. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch out my first boundary box. This was very gently used. A lady bought it and had it all of 2 weeks and sent it back to the store. I think she had a little buyer's remorse, but the machine was literally brand new, and she bought everything under the sun that could go with it. I already had, because I also have a really nice Stellaire from Brother. So she had every hoop size possible. She had a lot of extra stuff. And my shop, who I buy my machines through, gave me a super deal. So I've loved this machine ever since. It's kind of my workhorse go-to. All right, now, whenever you have a pattern that has more than one step, like the rectangle, the second step is always stitched directly on your stabilizer as well, because it is the placement area for your first piece of fabric. So let's stitch that out, and then I'll show it to you. But I have a little Baby Lock Flourish too. That was my first foray into what I call the big girl machines. My husband, when I first started doing machine embroidery many years ago, bought me a lovely little Singer machine, and boy, it worked perfectly. And then I saved up my money because I promised him I would never take out a loan to feed my embroidery habit, and I haven't yet. So I'm sticking to it. All right, so here we have our second stitch out. This is going to be the placement area for our first piece of fabric. And actually, you are going to learn how to trim tonight. I'm just going to put a little bit of fabric glue in there. When you wash out your stabilizer, the fabric glue will wash out as well. It's great that way. I'm going to lay that down. And now the third machine step is just to stitch that piece down, and then we're going to do a little trimming. So you are going to learn how to trim your pieces tonight. And the one thing I want to tell you all about trimming is don't freak yourself out about having them absolutely perfectly a 1/4 inch or perfectly an 1/8 of an inch or whatever you're going to trim at. Because remember, your seam is built in and you just have to have a good little amount past there. So here we go. Now, see how this is here? Well, in our flying geese unit, we have another piece of fabric that's going to go there and one that's going to go there. So we need to trim this little wing and this little wing. And it's super easy. Now, I'm left-handed, so if it looks confusing, I do apologize. If you want, while you are learning and to make yourself feel comfortable, you can always take your ruler and put your 1/4 inch mark on your line there and even draw a little line there if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to do it with this Sharpie so you guys can see it. So I have a line there. That's a perfect 1/4 inch. But I don't bother doing that because honestly, you get an eye for it right away. So I'm going to cut this across and I'm just trimming that off. Now I've got the perfect amount there. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just eyeball this one. And I bet they're pretty doggone close to being exactly the same. And they are. Look at how close those are to being exactly the same. One I measured, one I didn't. In fact, this one I measured. I've got a little piece of fabric here I want to trim. Because I didn't stay on the line. There we go. That's how easy it is to trim. So you're always only trimming fabric that is inside your box. If there is fabric that falls outside your boundary, you don't need to trim that because that gets trimmed off when you trim out your whole piece from the stabilizer. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, our next piece of fabric is going to be for here. So what I do is I like to lay it down where it's going to go. So it needs to look like that. Then all I do is flip it over and I lay it directly on top of that first piece. So first pieces of fabric always, always, always get laid down right side up or pretty side up. With white, it doesn't really matter, but always with the right side up. All other pieces, if there are 2, 10, 12, 4, whatever, always start right side down, okay? And that's because after we cure it onto here, we're going to flip it. So we're going to stitch this right on. Everybody still with me? Looks like we are. Okay. All right, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put just a little swipe of my glue stick right there, and then I'm going to flip this fabric up. And because I give you plenty, you're going to have plenty outside your boundary for when you want to trim this out at the end, and you're going to have plenty in your place. It's going to be right where it needs to go. Now we're going to stitch this piece down. You can always hold it if you want to. I like to do that. It just feels, you know, a little more secure, but please, whatever you do, keep your fingers away from the needle. Okay, so that side is done now. Now we just have for the flying geese unit to do the other side, and we do it in the same exact way. So once you're used to this and you know that this is going to look like this, you know just automatically to lay that piece right like that. Okay? And then what I like to do sometimes when I'm doing this is I just put my glue stick on there to start with. And that way I don't have to glue it afterwards. It's ready. I can just flip it while it's still in the hoop and in the machine, and I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm gonna put my glue stick away. I always put a piece of plastic wrap over my glue stick and then put it in here. Not so much to keep the glue stick from turning hard, but it does help. But it keeps the glue out of the cap. You can always wash out your cap because with soap and water, because the glue will dissolve. But if you use that little technique, you don't have to do that. All right, so now I've got my glue stick there. I'm just going to press that in place. After we stitch this piece down, then we have our final stitch out to do that goes all the way around, and that's where we typically need to use a little bit. Let's see if you can see that a little bit better. There you go. A little bit of tape. Any fabric tape, any tape that says for sensitive skin or that says low tack, if you're going to use like a painter's tape, anything that says low tack or for sensitive skin or is a tape for fabric can be used. Those all have the least amount of chemicals. Now, in our last piece, this is going to stitch all the way around here. And as your foot comes in this direction, there's this big piece of fabric here. It's not going to tangle on that because it's going to be going with that fold. So I'm not going to worry about that. And when I come down here, it's still going with the fold of this fabric. So it's not going to catch there either. However, when I come over to this edge, look, my foot's coming this way. In fact, let me bring this up a little bit. My foot's coming this way, and look what it could do. It could get caught there, and it could end up like this and cause a real mess. So with your tape, I always place it outside of my stitch line. That way I'm not digging tape out of my thread. Just outside of the stitch line. You don't need a big piece. And I reuse my pieces of tape until they just won't stick anymore. Now I'm going to put this back in, and we're going to stitch that final box out. And this is all nice and held down so my foot isn't going to stick on it or catch it. I used to be the kind of embroiderer that would take chances, and I got really, really messed up once to the point where I had to take my machine in and have it recalibrated because it messed up my arm by what happened. So it's definitely worth buying a roll of tape now and again to keep that from happening. So once that's done, I just peel my tape back off, and with it being out here and not getting ripped out from the seams, I can reuse that for several more tries. And then now I'm done. Now I just take this out of the machine. I take my ruler. I line up my 1/4 inch mark on my ruler along this seam here and trim it. I trim the other side the same way, and then they'll be out of your hoop, so your hoop won't be there. And then I do all 4 sides, and I'm done, and I have them finished. So let me take this off. There we go. Now I'm going to roll this out of the way. Hang on. What's it stuck on? There we go. Roll my machine over, and I am going to set this light carefully this time so I don't accidentally turn the whole thing off again. Now we're going to roll this back in here. There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, we're doing good on our time. Let me bring this in. There we go. All right, so now you can see. Hang on. There we go. Now you can see our piece. And here are the 2 pieces, the rectangle and the flying geese unit that we did in the hoop. This is what your flying geese unit will look like when you trim it out. This is in the hoop. This is out of the hoop. Okay. Super simple to do. So tonight you learned that when you do something solid, like we did with the block last week, just the square or the rectangle, super simple. Basically slap those puppies down and get them done. Super duper easy to do. But the flying geese is more a comparison to the half square triangle. You're using more than one fabric. This particular time, you're using 2 fabrics, but you're using 3 pieces of fabric. And so we learned tonight that we need to trim the excess white out of the inner part here so that we can put this new fabric in. All right. Super simple, right? Does anybody have any questions about what I've done? Because if you do, now's your time to ask. Oh, Sandy, I'm so glad you love it. It's so simple. It's such a lovely way to do quilting. Sandy, I've quilted for over 55 years. So I've done it by hand. I've done it with sewing machine. But this came about because I had friends who were embroiderers who would not quilt with me. And I begged them for years, please come and quilt with me. Please, it's not hard. And they said, Diana, we're not sewers, we're machine embroiderers. And in their mind, there's a real difference there. That's cool. That's great. And so after 6 years of learning to digitize and lots of failure, I finally was able to come out with the Build a Quilt system. So I'm so glad you love it. That makes me feel so wonderful to know that you're enjoying it. So any questions, anybody? Any questions at all? Pretty easy. Now remember, this live is going to be on there. I have never been a good piecer, so I love using my embroidery machine. Rose, I bet you were a good piecer, but I'm so thrilled that you love doing it with your embroidery machine. I will tell you, since I've created this system, I have not done a quilt in any other method since. And I used to whip out quilts in the other methods pretty quickly because I'd done them a long time. But Build a Quilt is all I use now too. And I love it. I think it's a lot of fun personally. And as somebody who's had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands, it's much less strain on your hands. All right, so that is the 2 segment pieces that we're doing we were doing tonight: the rectangle and the flying geese unit. And mine will eventually get sewn together when you guys sew yours together. I've kept it like this pinned up here so I can take pieces apart and all and show them to you. Next week, so we've done well, you can see there, the squares. We've done half square triangles. We've done the flying geese unit now and the rectangle. Next week is a big week, but we can still do this in our 1 hour together. We are going to do the next step up in your process of figuring this stuff out is going to be your diamond in a square. This is an exceptionally useful block in quilting. You can use it as a block to put applique in. You can embroider stuff in it. It can be used in your corners. It can be used in centers. Let's see, let's see if I've got something. Here's a little block I've got right in the center. And the nice thing about the diamond in a square, and we'll go over this more next week, is you have 4 areas here, 4 corners in which you can play with fabric, which will help you create your quilt. Those 4 corners, depending on what kind of fabric you use there, what colors, might make a completely different shape on this side and a completely other shape on the other side. Or you might just need one corner to continue a certain color theme in the quilt or something like that. So this is an exceptionally useful block, okay? You are amazing. Oh, thank you, Sandy. You guys, all right, I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm a crier, so thank you. It means the world to me, seriously. All right, so next week we're going to do diamond in a square. Now, because you know flying geese, this is going to be a breeze for you, okay? Because it's not much different. You're just going to do it in 4 corners, basically. And then we're also going to learn the modified half square triangle. Little preview. Regular old half square triangle, the most often used block in quilting. Modified half square triangle. This side looks like this side, right? But this side sure don't look like this side. And this side with a modified half square triangle, and there's lots of ways to modify. We're using 4 little pieces of fabric. And it is creating, by doing that, we are creating a pinwheel block right there in the center. We are creating a pinwheel that's a diamond in a square. Oh, look at that. That's kind of cool, huh? So those are the pieces we're going to learn next week, and you guys will do them with no trouble at all. I like the diamond in a square, putting an embroidery design in the middle. Yes, it's beautiful to put your embroidery designs and really highlight them. I've seen quilts, Jean, where people piece this in a regular piecing method, the diamond in a square, but then they went in and did applique in the center of all of them. It was gorgeous. So that could be beautiful for sure. All righty, guys. That is it for this week. When this post here in just a minute, when we are done, I will definitely, we didn't do our question of the week. Hang on, because we've got to choose a winner of a pattern. Hang on. Question of the week. Are you ready? Crayons or colored pencils? Now you know why I'm asking that, since I showed you mine today. Do you like crayons or do you like colored pencils when you work with your coloring sheets and the patterns, or anything else? Which do you like? Let me know in the comments. And here in a minute, when we're done, I'm going to pick a winner, and I'm going to be sending out a pattern. This was a pattern. This pattern looks very basic and kind of dull. But let me tell you, when you put it together, you get the best confetti looking thing. It's like you've got a background and somebody just poof, put confetti. See, let's see. See this fabric up here? That's what this block, the celebration block, will look like when you put a bunch of them together, because you use all these little different colors here. And there's a whole video that goes with this on the website. So this is the block you're getting tonight. And here's the other thing. When I made this block, I made it as a 10 by 10 size. And what have we been doing? We've been doing all of those Riley Blake blocks. And we've been doing our May and June block, our spinning Argyle diamond, our blooming star. And this one we made from the spinning diamond and the blooming star. All of those are 10-inch. And now the winner's going to have another 10-inch. All righty. So the winner will get that. So let us know if you like crayons or colored pencils. And I'm going to pop back over here and see what y'all are saying. Colored pencils, both. Yes, Cindy, I kind of like them both too, actually. Colored pencils, definitely. Colored pencils. Oh, well, team colored pencils. It's winning tonight, I think, for sure. So when this finishes, I will go in and I will put the link to last week's live. Although remember, when you go to the YouTube channel, up at the top, there are the little categories. When you see the live one, if you click that, it's the first one on there. Well, it'll be right underneath this one. So you can find it that way as well. Okay. Now we're going to choose here in a minute, but I want to let everybody know, I'm going to take the question down. Colored pencils or crayons, which do you like? Alrighty, so the website again is www.sewandcommon.com, and that's where you will find the stars and my first build a quilt stars and diamonds. The pattern set right now is still only $5, because it's really my goal to help you guys get started and learn and love these. So while we're doing them, I'm keeping it at the least price I can possibly put it at. And you're going to get the files for your finished quilting. And we're going to be talking about that in 2 weeks. Next week, we're finishing up the piecing parts. And the week after that, we're going to talk about the layout and the quilting. All righty. So that's the website. If you have not subscribed yet here to Sew Uncommon, would you please go ahead and click the subscribe button if you've had a good time tonight, if you think this is interesting, if you'd like to see more. I'd love to have you as part of the Sew Uncommon family. I feel like now I have all these friends all around the world now that I can quilt with. So my friends who didn't want to quilt with me, they do now, but I have so many more friends now that will quilt with me too, and I love it. So please subscribe, and please do me a favor of liking the video and sharing the videos or any of the videos with others. When you do that, it actually allows more people to find us and maybe learn how to do something that they will enjoy as well. So I thank you all so much for that. I got one more comment I want to thank you for. Oh, you're very welcome, Rose. It's truly my pleasure to do this. Absolutely. All righty. Any other questions before we say so long tonight? Next Wednesday is Wednesday Night Workshop Live, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, like always. Again, thank you all so much for letting me bump it a night this week. And Sunday is Quilt Lab. So please join us. Now, Quilt Lab is a pre-recorded video, so you can kind of watch it whenever you want. But the earlier in the day you watch it, if I have like specials and things and games or things that you want to comment and stuff on, it's easier to get them during the day. But it's all about, this month has been all about our Argyle diamonds, spinning Argyle diamonds, because every 4 you put together, you get a pinwheel in the middle. That's the spinning part. And then also how we can mix and match segment pieces. So we took the triangles and the corner pieces of this block along with one of these blocks and made that block. And then I think I have another one over here. Do I have it with me? I do have it. Here's the other one. We took the triangles and the corners from that block and I put a snowball block. This block is free on the website, the Friendship Snowball block, and made that star, a whole nother new star from it. So that's what we've been talking about this month. And Sunday, I'll give you guys a tip. Sunday for Quilt Lab, we're going to be mixing and matching some of the Quilt Lab block that I just showed you with some of the pieces from that Riley Blake set. We did the Riley Blake challenge this year. There are 16 blocks in that set. I did them all in the Build-A-Quilt system for us, and a set of sashing pieces as well, completely free, because the Riley Blake challenge is always free. And so I did the Build-A-Quilt part free for us too. I had a blast doing it with you guys. We did one each week. And so because those blocks are 10 by 10 as well, you can mix and match some of those with some of your Build-A-Quilt pieces, your Quilt Lab pieces. And so that's what we're going to talk about in Sunday's video. All righty, everybody, are you ready to see who won? Wow, 10-inch blocks. I am great. Oh, I'm so glad. They're all beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much. Love the snowball block too. You're very welcome. I love gifting you guys stuff. I love it. So are we ready to see who is going to win the celebration block? Are we ready? Because you know I usually do the spinny thing. However, I'm going to tell you all this right now. You guys you've been so sweet tonight. You're such a wonderful group. Each and every one of you that are here tonight, whether you answered the question of the week or not, you send me, remember, I don't give your email addresses to anyone. Not even my husband can get into that part of my software system. That's completely private and safe. All of you that are here tonight, if you send me, whoops, not at the website. There we go. If you send me an email with your email address and say celebration block in the line at support@sewuncommon.com, every single one of you, I will send you this block so that you all have it. Okay. What do you think of that? Is that a good thing? Do you guys like it? Yay. Spin that wheel. Gail, you're so funny. Spin that wheel, girl. Well, I'm spinning it, and guess what? It landed on everybody. So everybody's going to get the celebration block, okay? Because, you know, why not? And this block is really easy to do. This block is made of just this segment right here. So you have a half square triangle and a square and a rectangle. You already know how to do all three of those from last week and this week. And you do 4 of them and you get this celebration block. And there's a video for it too. I will link this video in the description of this live when I'm done. When you send me your email, I will send out those block sets tomorrow to everybody, okay? You're very welcome. You're very welcome, guys. Please, it's my pleasure to send those out. Support@sewuncommon.com, and I will do that tomorrow. Now, we are 2 minutes over, and I promised I wouldn't do that because I know you guys some of you want to get to that other little event for that other great little group, and I do too. So until Sunday, everybody, as always, go sew life beautiful. Bye for now. It's been great being with you tonight. Bye-bye.